Hello.
All right, we are live now. We're at the United Freedom Festival in Ohio for the second annual one. And now, you want to try to do a short one, Dennis?
Sure, I'm going to do a short one.
See, yeah.
And forgive us.
Come on in the light.
Forgive us for this kind of impromptu thing, and forgive my more lackadaisical way of saying this because we actually just did this like 10 minutes ago, and then we realized that we weren't live. My name is Dennis Rhodes, and I am an American. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm an American that just cares about people. Welcome to the United Freedom Festival. You'll find when you talk to people here, they all have their own individual things that they kind of focus on. And mine, real quick, to just share it with you, happens to be the things involving the little jabby things that they stuck in people's arms. Freedom! And at any rate, my particular call to action that I'm asking people to do is I don't want you to fight with anybody. I just want you to ask a simple question. Because it's very interesting to me that my health department director, my pharmacists, the doctors in my town, and I've talked to the mayor, I've always talked to the commissioner, reported to them, but none of these people have any clue how many people have actually died or been injured by these shots. And the fascinating part that's really caught my attention is because I really thought that it was just some conspiracy theory, and when I went and asked the question, "Hey, I'm just curious how many people have died or been injured," that they would just tell me the numbers, and that they would know them, and then they could at least have something to compare it to. Because ultimately, how can they say it's safe and effective, but not know how many people have died or been injured? So I said I was going to do the short version. I think this version is longer than the first version was. That's what you get for making me have more time to think about it. But
Yes.
seriously, folks, my thing is I don't want anybody to fight or argue with anybody. But if every once in a while somebody just called up a pharmacy or your health department director and just asked them, "Hey, I'm just calling to find out if you guys have the updated list of numbers on the deaths and injuries caused by these jabby jab things." Of course, you can use other words. We're on the internet, so I'm trying to save your website from crashing.
That's much appreciated.
So ask them. It's a simple thing. And it starts with our communities. We can't fight with federal government. I can't fight with the state, but the mayor, the health department director, the pharmacist that I talk to in my community, they typically live in my community. So I'm hoping that they'll at least start asking some questions and think about it so that my friends, neighbors, kids, and their families will at least get proper informed consent. Thank you very much. That's all I have to say about that.
Thank you.
And he was going to show you my truck, but you can take a picture of it later or something if you want to. That's another time. You got rounds today.
Yeah, and I'm doing this without, just holding the camera. I didn't get all the rest of the equipment working, so it's a shaky video at night. That's interesting.
I put in some weird things, and then these ladies will message me, Jason, you spelled the word wrong. I'm like, no, I didn't. I did it on purpose. I did it on purpose. One of them messaged my mom. I didn't know Jason. The word is spelled wrong. Father, so you probably know.
I am on YouTube.
I'm on YouTube, but I should be at Rumble. But I started a Rumble channel, and I never could download a video. It wouldn't let me upload on Rumble. Really? I don't know. Okay. So are you using the app? Don't use the app. Don't use the app. Only use it through your. Really? Yeah. Don't use the app. Use the browser. Use the app. Use your browser. Never use the app. I do actually. Yeah.
I stopped. I still got the Rumble account, but I don't use it.
Oh, I think Rumble's okay. But when I'm multiple streaming, it'll mess up all my streams when it starts spinning out, you know. And so I never know, is it okay? Is the YouTube buffering or? But a lot of times it's Rumble, so I'll just drop it and just continue on with the YouTube. You know, we're YouTube. But I'll tell you this. People need to realize and don't forget this. YouTube is still the biggest by far. It's at 80%. And you've got 80, and then I think X even was like 20. For what do you mean? 20% of how many people are using which apps? Oh yeah, the traffic. Yeah. Well, it is. And so YouTube is still the biggest, but by far. So if we want to reach more people, somehow we've got to get around the censorship and the shadow banning, which is really my job. I got over 7,000, and it got stuck because of the shadow. All of the people podcast or radio and on social media. I can get with the take our border back, I got really lucky. I was having to charge my battery when they were getting started with the rally in Dripping Springs, Texas, which was just a phenomenal rally. I mean, that's when we had all the big speakers, right? Well, Ted Nugent hadn't arrived yet, and so I'm way over the. I was getting so upset. Did you see it? I was getting so darn upset because I'm way over here. I'm like, oh, and I'm like, here comes the line. I'm like, that's it. It's just by chance. But my numbers. I mean, that's when it jumped. Like big time. And it was him getting off the helicopter be bigger than him shredding his guitar for our national anthem and that amazing speech he had before it. But I got over 100,000 hits on him meeting me, walking over to me after he got off the helicopter to say hey. And he just couldn't have been any sweeter. And so what I thought of. To me, the numbers should be with him shredding his guitar, you know, because that's back in my day, you know what I mean? But you know what I realized was he was so sweet and so kind that people like that human connection part. They like that reality. So that's gonna beat out. Isn't that something? I got goosebumps. So that that was exactly what it was. I was like, why did that one get only this much and that one got this much? But it did make my channel jump. But it shows you also where the heart of America is. Yeah. America's heart is really shifting. There is a change happening in how we interact, what people want, what it takes to build an audience, what it takes to capture someone's attention, or what it takes to encourage someone. Because people are so starved for authenticity because everything's on TikTok. Short form content, just scrolling through, watching 5 lives, going back and forth. Your brain is like da 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 da. Everything is just so. Yeah. So when you see that, you know, I shake his hand and we just like actually connect as brothers. Nice hat, man. Glad we got to talk earlier. But yeah, it's good stuff, man. We're kindred spirits and we feel the vibe, man.
Person to person.
Yeah. Right. What's up, people? Neat. So you guys, if you watch some of the new things where they're helping us to make our channels better and everything, what they're doing now is what we've been doing all along. There is a shift from the short bang 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 over to what we've been doing, getting that personal connection. Isn't that wild? You guys, does anybody listen to Sean Ryan? So we may have been ahead of the curve and didn't even know it. Sean Ryan show is?
Well, I try to do college shows on my studio.
Sean Ryan has long shows.
Yeah. People don't.
Yes.
people don't have their notifications on. So make sure they have notifications on when we do go live. You get the update that we're live, and that's a big part of it too.
So, and then have you noticed that YouTube will that's part of their shadow banning? They'll take our notifications.
Yeah, I've had mine notifications taken down. I didn't know how it happened.
They do it. They're shadow banning us. How do you think they do it? They have many ways, but that's one of them for sure.
The one thing I didn't realize about shadow banning is that the AI reads the shadow ban. The AI picks up on words and topics, and then AI shadow bans. It's like when you're Facebook Live, and it says buffering or slow connection or it starts to scatter. That's often AI.
Oh,
somebody told me that's AI reading what you said in the topic, and then they're throwing like knives into the feed. Going to bed, Dawn? Too much moonshine?
Did he
keep it?
Love you, thank you.
Did he
Thank
keep
you,
the?
Dawn.
He put it up.
Well, I decided to do my first live stream this week and make it at nighttime and
Congratulations.
half of my equipment. So,
Got a microphone?
Yep.
Yeah.
Got the microphone because it sounds much better.
So that plugs into, you got a split there. Okay. And then a battery pack?
Yep.
Yeah, because it kills a lot of battery, man.
So who are we?
Who are we? Is that a question to me?
That's to you.
Well, this is United for Freedom Festival, Ohio Patriot in Ohio, just coming together, all a common cause, all under the banner of freedom, all the differences that we got. The idea is to leave.
I'll be a while.
Maybe you have a different belief about God. Maybe you have a different view on abortion. Maybe you don't believe in all the politics. We don't care about that. That's not going to save America. What's going to save America is us coming under United We Stand. Let all the noise go for now and come back to that fight later. Right now, the fight is about open borders. It's about destroying the Constitution. It's about taking away our guns. It's about demoralizing humanity, taking God out, and villainizing you if you are anti-groomers. We're not against gay people or any of the things they blame us for, but we're against schools. And so these very basic principles, I like to think about that. Very basic principles, and we unite under them. The rest of it's all noise to distract people. In a war, it doesn't matter. So we're just here to connect, build relationships, shake hands, share stories, eat some s'mores.
And who are we talking to?
My name's Jason Miller.
I'm a live stream?
I do. I have a YouTube channel. It's Jason D. Miller.
Okay.
Jason D. Miller is my YouTube. My Instagram is where I'm usually on. It's Twisted Miller. Twisted Miller, and then my Facebook, Jason D. Miller. I got a podcast, headgear on my head on the Facebook. So yeah, awesome, man. Good stuff. We've got a group in Canton, Ohio. We meet the first and third Thursday of every month at Mulligan's Restaurant and Pub. So our Patriot group is kind of what I'm here under that banner. But I do a lot. I'm also Central Committee. I'm on our Central Committee in the Wayne County Republican Party. Trying to weasel in through the rhinos. There's a whole mess of rhinos in there. And we try to weasel in and make an impact. So I don't know if they know what rhinos are. You know what a rhino is?
Republican a name on it, just in case I got to say.
You got it. All right.
Yeah, your turn. You get to say who you are.
HML Media. Oh, you got a microphone? Can I hold it?
Okay. Go too close.
I'm reporting live from Morrow County Fairgrounds. HML Media. Love y'all. You'll be safe. Take care of your family, your kids, your country, and most of all, love your God. We love you all. Reporting live right here. Morrow County Fairgrounds. Thank you.
All right. Your turn. You get to say who you are.
Hi.
Channel, all that sort of
Oh, thank you. Okay, who are you?
That's Clark.
You're Clark. Is that the name of your channel too?
No, Art Bark Spark.
Ard Bark Spark. I love it. That's so great. So, what's your spin on your channel?
I don't have one.
You don't have a spin. You just like talking to people.
No, I'm not don't do it a whole lot.
Yeah.
I started actually doing my first live was with a convoy.
Oh, good. Oh, you were the People's Convoy, or me too. That's wonderful. Okay, that's back when I started. And I'm Glory Be Freedom. 2 E's and B.
Yep, and you spend a lot of time in Washington.
Oh yes. Oh yes. You watch?
Oh
Yeah, that's great. I'm so glad.
Feeling like I can go visit you over there.
Come down anytime. Oh my gosh. Hit me up on my channel. Let me know you're coming. I'll make sure I'm there that night.
My biggest scare is actually showing up and being there. It's a terrible place to go.
DC is a beautiful, amazing place. It's our capital.
It was when I was a kid.
Yep, it still is. I've had more fun exploring the city again. We have police, the Capitol Police. They come out every night to the corner there, the Freedom Corner behind the jail, and we are very, very safe. The neighbors, we have gotten to know the neighbors. They are so nice. And honest to goodness, one of the neighbors said to the police officer one night, I happened to be walking when he drove by and pulled up next to one of the police, and he goes, "I've never felt safer since y'all started coming around." Because the police are there every single night. Why? Because we're there every single night. They have to make sure nothing happens to Mickey or any of us. They have to. They've got no choice. So you're very safe with us.
I will. If I get the opportunity where I can take off, because I could be there in about 8.5, 9 hours.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome. It's an amazing place. It's wonderful watching it online too, but it is a different kind of experience to be there in person. And they are back on our side now. They had moved them at one point all the way to the back of that building, to where we couldn't see their flashing lights, and they couldn't see us anymore. We couldn't see them anymore. They did that over a year ago, and they said it was because they needed to fix the pipes on that side, right? In this building that had been shut down and dilapidating, and roaches and mice, that was opened up 1 month before January 6th. Nobody there. 1 month before January 6th, they opened up that building. Nobody in that particular building.
Like they had a plan.
Okay, so they've taken them down.
Suggest that.
So right after Trump was shot, they're back on the front again, and we can see their flashing lights again, and they can see us, and we can see them. I mean, when I say see them, it's their light or their shadow in the window, but we're all back together again. And so we went ahead and moved back down to that front of that corner there, which is why we call it Freedom Corner. And when I saw that, I wasn't there that night. I was home making jewelry I helped to continue doing this by making jewelry and selling it as well. And so I was watching it on the line, and I saw those lights flash, and I was like, they're back. The feeling that came over me, it seems like such a small thing, but it's that connection and going back. We are about to celebrate 2 years of being at Freedom Corner there. 2 years. On the 1st, yeah. And I first went down there on August 3rd. Mickey was first started it, Ashley Babbitt's mom, on August 1st. And 2 years. And those lights mean a lot. And it's just like that human connection. The men, the January 6th political hostages, which is what they are, when we first went down there and started, they were able to call us. They didn't know what to say because they almost couldn't really believe that they were talking to us. They still had not seen their families. They still had not seen their children. They hadn't been allowed to FaceTime. They hadn't been allowed visitation for almost 2 years. For almost 2 years. And so suddenly they're getting connection to the outside world.
A chance to state their case.
Yeah. And so suddenly they're having connection with the outside world for the first time. And they didn't really know what to say. They didn't quite understand what it was about, what the vigil was about. They knew that Mickey was Ashley Babbitt's mother, but they didn't really understand what this calling was about. To be there in the beginning, to hear them suddenly trying to talk to us, but they don't know what to say because they're not sure what the hell this is, to finally realizing, oh my gosh, they're actually there for us. And then their realization, they're giving us a voice and a connection to our loved ones even too. And then we're all able to start communicating and making that difference for them and making changes, not only for them, but for the entire jail. The entire jail. And that's not just the people being held in the jail, that's also the people that work for the jail. This has been amazing. And it's just been huge. And anyone who thinks that this is all about just a presidential race, or this is all about one world order or anything like that, January 6th and the political hostages are central to this plan that is happening to the entire world. But for us to be able to get our country back, we need to understand what they are doing and why January 6th and those political hostages are such a key important part of it.
You're still getting the negative people coming down and harassing
Oh
you?
God, yeah, they egged my car. I opened up my sliding door and somehow some egg got into the. And I'm like, how did I miss that part too? They put cat poop and cat litter and egg and wound up. I scratched my new car, the hood, because it turned into like cement. You know, I mean, they're horrible. They come down and they harass us. They call us 24/7. They send us like sign me up. They sign me up for every single email thing that you can imagine, and then those people call you. They, you know, Patricia Aguino, and she's like was her neighborhood commissioner or whatever it was. You know, now I'm like I'm tired now. You know what happened? Some more just hit me. I'm like sugar. So she comes down there, and she's an elected commissioner in District 6 of Washington, D.C., and she comes down there and screams the most god-awful, horrific things through her megaphone at Ashley Babbitt's mother and all their cronies, and it's just like, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. Some people are paid to do it. And this has been going on for years, apparently.
Yeah, it's amazing to find out how many people are paid to protest other people.
Yeah.
Instead of just stating their side and having discussions about it.
Right. Oh no, you can't have discussions with them.
No.
Oh no. You like to say something and a whistle blows. You try to say something and a whistle blows, and it doesn't work.
They make sure that you cannot be heard by their ear.
Right. And so we know who's behind that. Y'all talk about Soros in your chat?
I have not.
Oh, okay. Well, that's who it is.
Yes.
And then his organization and
the sub-organizations.
Yeah.
Those sub-organizations.
Yeah. So I believe that Bowser is okay with it. She says that they believe very strongly in freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And she has tied the hands of Metro DC. They're not able to do much of anything. They call screaming through a horn and blowing whistles freedom of speech. And I looked one of the Capitol police officers said that just recently, and on Memorial Day we were having a march, and he said that, and I said that is not freedom of speech. That is obstructing our freedom of speech.
Right.
That is obstruction of freedom. Very, very different. But Mayor Bowser has them following the order that that's freedom of speech.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
The biggest reason I did not watch a lot of rights after the convoy split thing. Yeah. Everything just is full of junk.
Oh yeah, well I stayed out of that. I stay out of that.
It was horrible.
No, because you know what happens? That's a distraction, and it was intended to be a distraction. There was one of the things about that is that there's so many plants. Whenever we all try to come together, they plant just like we know for a fact that there were feds in the January 6th at the Capitol. We know that they've been identified, and so
not by the people that need to.
Well, no, they've been identified. There's no denying it. So you know, look, President Biden, if that's what you want to call him, has said over and over and over again that police officers were killed on January 6th. There were no police officers killed on January 6th. The only people that died or were killed on January 6th, and two more.
Oh, yeah, 2 more?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Now.
Well, Ashley. Wasn't Roseanne? Did she die that day?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She got beaten by an officer. Yeah. And then I need Sherry right now. Brian Sicknick was the only officer who wound up having a stroke on that day. He died the next day due to complications. But a January 6th attendee. Protester. Oh, thank you. That's awesome.
Thank you.
He was a January 6th protester, was the one trying to get him help immediately, and he wasn't getting the help from his own fellow officers. And he wound up dying the next day of complication to having a stroke.
Yeah,
but it was
the story that they said about They're getting beat in the head with a fire extinguisher.
Absolutely not. It was not
All
true.
that stuff is
Right. It was not true.
unbelievable.
And so we've heard it from the horse's mouth. It was not true.
And then they put him in the rotunda.
So what happens is we have our own president lying still that supposedly there were officers killed that day. There were no officers killed that day. There were some officers that committed suicide, and the number was 6. I don't know if it's more now, but it was 6. Way later, some of them July of that year. Okay, so 6 months later, they allowed them to put the date of their death back to January 6th for insurance purposes for the family. No officers were killed January 6th at the Capitol. None.
But the records were so different.
Well, we have our own president lying to us to make sure that there's a different narrative. Yeah. And so when that happens, but you can get caught up in all this stuff too. And sometimes I have to pull back and I have to say, what's really going on here? What's really going on here is everybody needs to pick a side. This is good and evil. This is God and Satan. You better pick a side, because that's what's going on here. This is spiritual warfare. This is a spiritual battle. This is absolutely bigger than all of us. And if you haven't picked a side yet, I suggest you pick a good one. And that's God every time.
Thank you.
Wasn't there like people the FBI was going after?
Do I get to put you in my live stream too? Do I get to put you in my live stream? Such a nice lady. You get to say who you are. Anything you'd like to throw out about what you're doing here?
Okay. I'm shy.
You're shy?
Yeah.
You know what? So am I. You will almost never ever see me on the camera.
You don't see me on the camera neither.
No.
Yeah.
I'll move on.
Okay.
All right. I'm doing my first live in a while, and with half my equipment. I figured to make it a night live. So, if you'd like to say who you are and anything you'd like to say about our group here. You're a dancer.
Well, I can dance and I sing too. Yep, I'm Annie Ma here at the United Freedom Festival with wonderful patriots. We're all here to meet other people who are like-minded, who, want to try to get our America back to where it is a free country again. We want to keep our freedoms and not let them slip away. Is what's kind of happening.
I don't know if we get to hear you. I'm trying to keep the mic out with all the noise. And you get to go.
Well, I was invited to come here because I have a giant American flag, and I was happy to come and unfurl it. And they were the best team that has unfurled this flag yet. They were awesome, and it was a unifying thing, unfurling this flag the size of a NBA basketball court.
What are the dimensions of that?
It is approximately 48 by 78, and it'll fit on the high school basketball court. That's what I had it made for. And I have one slightly bigger than that. That's 54 by 84. And it was great. Everyone loved it. It was, I call it Unite in Light, because people hold up their cell phones, turn on their light, walk under the flag, and think about someone special. And, everyone's holding the flag. They're all working together, and they're playing patriotic music. The national anthem was sung by this Miss Lovely, I call her, and she did a great job. And it's just a neat feeling. So I'm glad I came.
Was that flag the same flag that was used
In the truck convoy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The racetrack down
Yes.
Indianapolis.
Yeah, in Indiana and in Hagerstown.
Oh, they use the same flag in both.
Yeah. Yep.
That's an iconic flag. It's got a lot,
There's no other flag like it. It has that Spanish national border around it. So yeah, it's a special flag. And looking to do high schools and basketball games, national anthems, and in small town USA.
Thank you. Oh, I forgot. You're a singer too.
Yeah.
But you've always been out. Anytime there's dancing and music, you're always out there.
That's right.
There's nothing wrong with that. Keeps you fit.
I don't care how much you get.
Somebody said that one guy was really good, but I haven't met him. The one guy, I'm still on yesterday.
Coach Dave. I decided to do my first live stream in a while.
Oh, congratulations!
So, anybody would like to say who they are or what they any 2 cents they want to throw in about what we're doing here?
Sure.
Sure.
My name is Brian. My wife and I are the camp hosts, and this is our second year for the United Freedom Festival. We're just trying to unite patriots to grow a movement to actually take a stand against our freedoms being taken away and to stand up against this overreaching tyrannical government. That's pretty much the nuts and bolts of it.
That works. Anybody else?
That's exactly what we were trying to do, but it didn't succeed too well. My name's Bruce.
And you got a shadow in your face that's in a terrible spot.
It's the tree.
It's a tree. My name's Bruce, and Brian pretty much nailed it on the head. A bunch of lions trying to wake the sheep and get them huddled together. Huddle up and make plans and try to work together. You can't go against a football team of 10 with one person. You got to have fair teams and try plays after plays and figure out what works and what don't. Sitting at home don't work. Does not work. Thank you for coming out.
Yep. You're going to look terrible. It looks like
it's been a long weekend.
It really looks bad.
His face. He doesn't mind at all.
You want to throw your 2 cents in?
Oh, sure. Hi, I'm Carla. I'm the camp hostess, Brian's wife. We had a really great time here. We had at least 35 camping spots. All were filled at one time or another. I think the total we had in at one time was 32, which was really great. We have a good sense of unity here. There's a lot of patriots here, talking, figuring out ways, finding out who's in this group, what does your group do, how can we help each other, how can we go at this from so many different angles to try and make sure that the people at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue understand that we, the people, are the country. They are not this country. And we're a little tired of them making decisions thinking that they know what we want when they don't know what we want. We're all out here working hard, doing what we need to do, and they're in D.C. putting their hand behind their back to make decisions and legislate on what we do not want, and we people stop it. And so come together and so all of us, Democrat, Republican, black, white, red, blue, purple, so all of us come together and tell them enough and quit letting them divide us by and this group telling us that we need to hate this group, we need to hate that group. We have to talk. We are human beings. We have our own minds. We can make decisions and we need to stand together. We need to let them know we are done with people